The markets, an awful lot to digest this morning, of course, Stephen. We've got those political moves in the US and in Italy, as we were just mentioning.
Yeah, no symbolism between our crashing soapboxes and what's happening on the markets this morning.
Hopefully not.
That budget battle in the US worrying investors, but we'll start in Europe. Italy, as you've been saying, affecting the markets there. The FTSE MIB down over 2% just in the past couple of minutes. Mainly the Italian banks that are being hit worse. UniCredit and Intesa Sanpaolo, the two biggest banks, down around 5% in trading in Italy today. The worry there, of course, over the political turmoil and what's going to happen next with Italy's government having, as you can see, a negative effect across all the European markets there, all opening in the red. We'll just take a quick look at Italy's borrowing costs as well this morning. Very important as time has moved on in this issue, up and a spike in trading today up to 4.79%. This is the key benchmark borrowing rate for Italy. Not quite yet in danger territory. 7% is that figure we need to worry about. We've seen before when it's reached that with Italy that it's gone to, that's caused itself political change. The Asian markets too, also worried by events, particularly looking at the United States actually in Asia. Japan's Nikkei closing down over 2%. The Hang Seng and the Kospi also in the red. Shanghai, though, the one green spot on the horizon today, that's after their new free trade zone launched, shares pushing them up, completing their best quarter in 3 years. So one good news on the markets today amidst all that red and gloom.
Exactly, something to cheer us up. Google, we're going to talk now. Tax affairs been earning an awful lot of unwanted attention this year. Some new figures going to add some fuel to that fire.
Yeah, company accounts show how much Google paid in tax in the UK and Ireland in particular. Interesting reading those figures make. Ireland is Google's European, Middle East and African headquarters. The Irish operations of Google saw revenue of 15.5 billion euros last year, but only paid 17 million euros in tax to the Irish authorities. Compare that to the UK figures, revenue of 600 million, tax of almost 14. Now, Google says that there's an administrative expenses charge involved in those figures in Ireland of 11 billion, which involves royalties from other Google operations. This, of course, after the continuing controversy over how much Google is paying in tax in countries like the UK. Campaigners not very happy that they're perhaps not paying as much. The company says they pay the majority of their tax in the United States because that's where they're headquartered, and they say that all of the tax loopholes that they're taking advantage of are all entirely legal and created by politicians for that very reason.
Now, the next story is one of the big stories in France over the weekend here. The government's getting involved in the debate over Sunday opening.
Yeah, the Prime Minister is set to meet ministers later this Monday to discuss this thorny issue. This after two hardware stores chose to open their doors in defiance of a court ruling on Sunday saying that they shouldn't be opening. Now, unions have been getting very hot and bothered about this, even though workers say that they actually want to work on Sundays. Charlotte Hawkins has the story.
Risking heavy fines, two French hardware chains decided to open their doors on Sunday. This goes against a court ruling that they don't have the right to stay open on the traditional day of rest.
Ladies and gentlemen, the store is closed for 30 seconds. This is a taste of a Sunday closing as imposed by the law.
The French government wants to continue long-running restrictions on Sunday trading. But when unemployment is at a record high and Sunday workers can earn 3 times their normal salary, employees in this store don't agree.
I'm a student, so my timetable only allows me to work on weekends. It's very well paid and it's really helpful when it comes to my studies.
Complex French laws allow retailers to only open on a Sunday under very specific conditions, such as if they are located in a tourist area. Sunday shoppers showed their support for the workers. But unions maintain the stores should stay closed.
The fact that they work creates a competitive environment. Others follow suit, including workers who have not volunteered to work.
The government says it's ready to negotiate with retailers on Sunday trading laws, but not on late-night shopping.
Late night shopping here in France. Now, finally, 13 years at the top, Coca-Cola has been the world's most valuable brand, but no longer, apparently.
Yeah, no longer the real thing. A survey by Interbrand saying that Apple has now taken the top spot as the world's most valuable brand, worth around $98 billion, massive rise of 28% in the past year. Google took second place, Coca-Cola knocked into third. They're valued at just under $80 billion. Microsoft and IBM round out the top 5 there, showing that technology firms really are very strong brands. But if you're concerned, Coca-Cola still wins in terms of Facebook likes. They have over 73 million compared with 9.8 million for Apple.
And Stephen Carroll.com comes in very high as well. Stephen Carroll with the business on France 24. Now it's time to have a look at the French, no, not the French ones, the international newspapers this time.